Hey everyone, how you doing today? It is Tuesday. We are doing our expert series with Matt. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, Mike. Super excited to be here as always.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna try something a little bit different. We're gonna give another shout out to Gary V. At least that's who I saw do it. I'm sure others are. We're gonna do the whole overrated, underrated
Sure.
topic. We're gonna do one long video today, folks. We usually do 3 8 to 12 minute videos. We're gonna do one 30, 40-minute discussion. We're each gonna give our opinion on 10 topics. Generally speaking, real estate, economics related. And we're going to see, because I'm going to guess we don't agree on all of these. So you ready to get
Yeah,
started?
I am. Amateur economists.
Hey, man, we got opinions. We're allowed to have them. It's our show. It's our half hour, whatever.
You got it, my man. You got it.
All right. So the first one is rising rates. As you know, you watch the channel January 1st. I said the thing we got to watch is the rising 10-year.
Yep. Yep.
So is it overrated or underrated, the importance of the 10-year in your opinion?
Underrated.
Yeah. And
I think it's I think the 10 is something that I watch all the time. I'm always looking for not only for watching the 10 rise, but I'm also watching for an inversion. Because we all know what that inversion means. And the inversion happened in what was it, 19?
Yep.
And when that inversion happened, we were starting to go into that type of recession that we typically see when you see that inversion of yield curve. But then massive amounts of stimulus pulled us right back out of it and, created kind of a false bottom, if you will.
Yeah. I think the rising 10-year is certainly underrated. And that's it's unfortunate. I mean, just go back to what was it, Thursday last week or Tuesday last week, where it shot up to 1.6%. And for the most part, the thing that's most underrated about it, it's not the rate. It's 1.53 or whatever it is today. That's almost not relevant. It's the rate of change.
That's right.
Right. The rate of change.
Velocity.
Yeah. The velocity is greatly underestimated by lots of folks, and all these, young YouTube entertainers talking about market. I can't believe it. They talk about a market crash when the Dow goes up 500 points. I mean, that stuff I don't understand what they're talking about. They need to understand
Rotation.
Rotation, right. And the importance that the yield curve has in that rotation, right? We've been in a dark period for a year, and you had 6 stocks run off to the races because they became cult based. And now people are going, oh, I'm starting to feel a little better, a little bit more confident. And like that happens, rates are likely to rise into that. Right. And they just don't see it. So yeah, I agree. Rising rates are underappreciated. Here's a topic for you. The $15 minimum wage, overrated, underrated?
So I think it's underrated as to what effect it will have on the economy if that's something that we do. I think something that's not being talked about, and again, amateur economist here, but if we're talking about 155 million people have a job in America, 66 million of them make less than $15 an hour. Effectively, what that's going to lend itself to is 66 million people getting up to 100% raise based on the current minimum wage. And so that will be the biggest tax boom for Washington that they've ever seen. Just based on now having that many more people that aren't going to necessarily get a refund, but that many more people are going to be paying in that much more. And they're going to see that much more of realized taxes and actually having to pay out, or just even a much lower, refund, based on what they're making. So I think it's underrated because I think that would be a huge drag on the economy. And I think that it's not because I'm negative and don't want to pay people $15 an hour. I want to pay people market.
Right.
And I think $15 an hour in San Francisco and Boston is low. I think $15 an hour in Berlin, New Hampshire is super high. Right. It really depends. Let the market decide what that job is worth. I think is always, I like market.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's a tough one for me because I see both sides, right? I grew up in an environment where $15 an hour would have made a difference.
Yep.
God, overrated, underrated. Well, I can say this. I'm going to answer this question framed for how it's being positioned.
Yeah.
I think it's overrated.
Okay.
I think they are talking about, living wage and all of those things, which I understand it's critical, it's important, but market's the right answer. I don't think people appreciate the downside. That's why I think I'm calling it overrated.
Yeah.
50, just waving your magic wand, getting fit. I mean, if it's 15, why not 30? Why not 40?
Right.
Right. I mean, just take it to that level and just appreciate it. Well, it's kind of like rent control,
It is.
right? Rent control in New York. It helps some people right away, but then those people do unnatural acts and they never move, right? Like it's real, right? If you ever watched the show Friends, they were in that New York house because they basically were subverting rent control, right? That was what was going on. That's how
Yeah.
they afforded it.
Yeah.
And
Hate
that's
that
what,
damn series.
yeah, that's what I think. I think, I think it's market. I would hope people strive to be better than market.
Yeah.
And I think
Well,
I think the inflation, I can only imagine what the cost of a Happy Meal would be,
right.
or a Big Mac.
I think
It's crazy.
I think it helps. It's, I'm not counter progress.
Yeah.
I want progress, but I want it based on the right things. And that solves the revenue issue. What it doesn't solve is the spending issue. It doesn't
Yeah.
solve the fact that you got your money right. And if you're still doing all those same things, all the same things that you're doing just now today, you will end up a net loser.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing for me, right? Financial education, or whatever you want to call
Yep.
that thing, doesn't
100%.
get fixed with $15 an hour.
That's right. That's right.
You don't
Well,
magically save more, right? If
right.
you're a spender, you're a spender, right? You got to change that habit.
Yeah. It exacerbates the problem is what it does. Because then it raises the cost for everybody,
Yeah, you want to, yeah. The thing that I see coming, if that ever happened, is locations where you go from 7.25, which I believe is the current federal minimum wage, to 15.
Yep.
If you're a landlord, you're going to love that,
Yeah.
right? Because you're going to raise rents. It may not be immediate, but I guarantee you rents will be higher in 2 years.
You're not wrong. And that's the thing is I'm not talking my book. I'm talking the opposite of my book. I'm saying, listen, I know that will benefit me more, but it will hurt everyone. They will hurt those 66 million people more than it's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to see it happen is I think that, and it's not about, keeping that wage low. It's about take the opportunity to work up, earn more, work more, but also get your money right and not have something that's mandated then by the government because it just becomes more and more of a slippery slope, right?
Yeah.
More and more regulation becomes that slippery slope.
All right. So now we'll move on to number 3, which is a hot topic all these freaking YouTube entertainers want to talk about. And that's Tesla. Let's talk about Tesla, the stock. If we want, maybe we'll talk about Tesla, the car, after, but let's talk about Tesla, the stock. Overrated, underrated?
So if we say, so I think that their stock is way overrated.
Okay.
I think it's way overpriced. I think it's ridiculous. I think the multiples are absurd. I think that for Tesla to be worth what every car company in the US and in the European Union is worth is absurd.
Yeah. I'm going to go with overrated as well. And this really goes back to my experience in the .com crash. Because, what happens in the stock market is, just go back and read Intelligent Investor. I think it was Warren Buffett or Benjamin Graham. Let me hang up on this wholesaler calling me. Yep. I'm serious. It's crazy. That was a wholesaler. There's a way to evaluate stocks, right? Discounted future cash flows and all of that, which works most of the time.
Sure.
My experience in the .com crisis is that stopped working because you started paying for eyeballs and you started paying for attention and all of that. So what I learned from that experience, only after the fact, I can't tell you I learned it going through it, but after the fact, is anytime you have to create new reasons to value a stock or make it make sense, that probably doesn't hold out long term, right? There were essentially companies that were valued on eyeballs, right? Number of eyeballs seeing it, that were essentially losing money every time an eyeball came to there. That's what happened after the fact. But we were all excited about the millions of eyeballs that saw it in a 6-minute window or whatever it was. So I think that's what's going on with Tesla, right? Tesla, at least today, is a car manufacturer. But people don't call it that. They call it a technology company, or they call it a battery company, or they call it a, I don't know, whatever they call it. It's truly a cult stock.
It is.
Now, is Tesla changing the world? Absolutely.
Yep.
Is Tesla pioneer the EV movement, that electric vehicles that would have never happened without it? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Tesla's impact on the manufacturing of cars, undeniable, probably underrated. but
Agreed.
Tesla, the stock,
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe that makes me old, or maybe it makes me stupid, but it's my opinion.
Hey, you know what? We've both been in this market, and I'm not a big stock guy. I've got a little, but I'm not a big stock guy. But I remember Cisco in 1998.
Oh, that was the stock that it made me, I felt like a genius and then felt like an idiot. That was it.
Well, yeah, because it was like it went to in the boom, it went to like
Dude,
140 and
it
then
split every 9 months for like 4 years.
yeah. And then when that last ride, it split to 70, it split to like 74. It went to like 81, and then it let the ghost out. I mean, then it went to like
dead money for 15 years.
a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
more than a decade. Good old John Chambers.
Yeah, Chambers. Yeah. So that's what I think about Tesla stock. And again, give Tesla the company. I think it's underrated. Tesla stock overrated.
Agreed.
Cool. All right. Now let's talk about these. Not to kind of display my hand, but oh well. These people call in market crash. What do you think about a real estate crash in 2021? Overrated, underrated?
I will move all my chips to the center of the table as underrated.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not really sure how to answer this, right? I actually think a market crash is overrated, meaning I don't think one's coming.
That's what I mean. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's overrated, right?
Yes.
The whole
100%.
I think it's out there, folks, because you click on it. That's why it's out there. I will put my chips in the center table as well. I've even gone as far with these idiots calling for a crash, putting up some money, willing to bet them and hey, let's pick a charity and let's put some money on the line. Nobody stepped up.
I have not heard from Ken McElroy yet on our bet.
Yeah.
All of ours against all of his.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure the phone will probably ring after this call.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
But yeah, I mean, it's just the numbers aren't there. And one of the things that, I know that you've got Habib coming up in the next few weeks.
Yep.
Awesome get. I mean, just the work that you put into getting that interview for us and, one rental at a timers is just phenomenal. I mean, just so awesome. And I think they're calling for 7.5% growth this year.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think that number is far more realistic. And one of the things that everyone talks about is, why do you have a crash? Because there's more inventory than there is ability to purchase said inventory. Mm-hmm. Well, that economic factor, that tiny little factor, is not being accounted for, which is insane to me. We have an all-time low as far as number of houses. And we had that crash in the bubble around 2000, when we had the crash again in like 9 or 10. There was 2.5x the inventory that we have right now available. Yeah. So it's an inventory game, guys.
Yeah.
Go to the store and buy a loaf of bread. If there's a ton of them there, they can only charge so much for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just mathematically impossible. People don't understand. I mean, again, we've talked about it. They don't understand the foreclosure prices. Even if you didn't pay today, it wouldn't hit until 2022 at the earliest. It's just, it hurts my head, these people. Now, again, I'm not talking about there can't be a crash or there won't be a crash in the future. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just taking the people to task that are calling for a 2021 crash. It is not. Now, you may have a local problem, like Vegas may pop, but it won't be nationally. 7.5% seems, you give me 8% is the over under nationally, I'll take the over.
Yeah. I think the other thing too, is you look at, when we talk about, crash, right? What is crash? Is it 20%, 30%, 40%? I think anything.
Well, apparently a crash is just stock market goes up 500%. You call that a crash. Yeah. So I guess a crash would mean instead of going up 11%, it goes up 8%. I guess that's a crash. I don't know.
You're cracking me up. Yeah. And in that case, I have no definition for you.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've got nothing for you. Yeah. But honestly, I'm thinking, I think that we know from having gone through it before, and this is something that 90% of these YouTubers miss out on, having gone through it before, we know that the first thing that happened was activity stopped.
Yes. People got scared.
Right.
Afraid.
That was the first thing that happened, was activity stops. Then prices go down. No,
just to be clear, people get scared. Yeah. Inventory shoots up.
Yes. Then prices, exactly. Yeah. So you're basically squeezing into like 90 days or 180 days, people getting scared. inventory all of a sudden hitting, prices now going down, not being able to short sell the house. Now you're in foreclosure. Now you're evicted. Now it's sold on the open market.
Not happening
It
this year.
doesn't happen in even 12 months.
Exactly.
It doesn't. So worst case you're talking about is something, I'm in my belief, based on my experience of going through 07, 08, 9, and 10, 11, you're talking about things being in 22 at the earliest.
Yeah, it's a 22 problem at the earliest. I'm willing to admit there could be a problem, but it's not a 2021 problem, folks. Stop saying it for clicks. Crazy.
And I think there's still appreciation between now and then as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, because what is not going to happen this year? My suspicion is the consumer is going to be as excited as they've ever been. We are coming out of a year of being holed up.
Yeah.
The consumer is not, I mean, I remember that. I remember watching people walk out of Bear Stearns with boxes going, holy shit, what just happened?
Yep.
That ain't going to happen in 2021. We're going to have, I mean, they're going to spend, low rates. Oh my God, it's going to be a party like 99.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't stay too long because that hangover is going to get nasty in a few years.
Ferraris for everybody, Mike.
Go! Ferraris for everybody. I love that. All right. How about lumber costs? Over or underappreciated?
So I think lumber prices are going to eventually come down.
Yeah.
Because I think demand is what's going to slow that down. I think that builders, like you were saying in your video, talking about builders putting houses up for bid now.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. That's nuts.
So the thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they're offering any level of financing. And as you and I know, just because you sign contract doesn't mean you're locked in on your rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So exactly. you still might be 120 days or 150 days away from locking in on your rate. And so how can you know what you can buy that house for? I think that when they do that, I think they'll see something that they've never seen before, which is, or never seen on a large scale, and except since last, 07 or 08, is people literally having to pull out a contract.
Yeah. Canceling because they can't, I mean, I think builders are going to suffer. Yeah, because again, I think they're going to have some people that qualify today that don't qualify in 6 months.
I agree with you 100%.
And
I think they'll have people that qualified 60 days ago.
Yeah.
That don't qualify right now.
Oh, I think that's absolutely true. Yeah. I think lumber costs are, I think they're overrated. I think it's a short-term supply problem. I think like you're talking about the demand. I wasn't even thinking about that. I think there's enough attention on lumber and again, like a 4x4 is up 150% or something. I think there's enough greedy bastards out there that they're humping the supply side to get more lumber created. So I do expect it to come down by the summer. So it'll be interesting.
I agree with you. Yep.
All right. How about the importance of supply of homes? Is that under or overrated as far as appreciation?
I think it's underrated. I think it's super important. I think it's the most important driver in this market. Like we talked about last week, that is a metric that I never, ever, 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 ever thought I would have to look at. Yeah. I never thought that I would have to track it, but that's in my magic spreadsheet, of, how many properties I'm watching and things like that. And I'm just looking at it and it's downright infuriating because I was telling you, it looks like I had January numbers last time, our February numbers, it looks like our massive supply of 3.5 weeks is going to go down below 3 weeks.
Yeah. For me, it's underrated as well. It's all supply. It's all supply.
At least for now. I mean, we were in the crashes, we were 3.2, 3.5 million homes a year coming on the market or that inventory a year. And now it's like 1.7 million or 1.8 million. I mean, we have a long way to go before we've even reached, 2 million or 2.5 million. I mean, we're a long ways away timeline wise, months and months before, even if we really start to reverse trend, it looks like we're months away from that, situation correcting. Yeah.
Supply is the thing. I mean, in my market, again, it's what I'm watching. I am seeing a little bit trickle on. I do think it's right around the corner, right? Yep. I think we're going to be swimming in vaccines very soon, right? Oversupply. That's going to be people feeling good, right? We got CDC sending out positive messages now about people that are vaccinated can do this and that. I think it's just going to get better from here. And really what that means for homes is I think the move up buyer, that's who we missed last year, right?
Agreed.
It's the person that had a home for 5 or 10 years. They have a safe and secure job. Last year, they went to Home Depot and Lowe's and bought paint.
Mhm.
Now they're going to go, you know what? We need a little bit more space. I want to have an office, not work out of my garage. I want to be by the golf course. We're going to see some move up buyers. And the move up buyers are important because there's 2 transactions. They put one on and they take one off. Where we're suffering from a lot today is a lot of the new entrants are millennials or first time buyers, and they don't have a thing to sell, right? They're coming out of a Class A apartment and they're just socking up inventory. That low end or affordable end or whatever you want to call it has never been this scarce. It's crazy right now.
Well, that's what also throws all the numbers out of whack for that median sales price rising so fast. It's
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that under 200 or under 250K market, there's no inventory. And so if your only inventory, I was looking at it because I always, always doing my homework. I'm boring like that, but, looking at things last night, and I say, there's, in these couple towns, there's 25 houses on the market, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's literally an eighth of what I'm used to looking at, an eighth. It's such a fraction. I'm used to 250 houses to pick from, and now I'm looking at 23 or 24. And of those 24, something like, I think like 9 of them are to be built.
Wow.
So there's 14 that you can even move into. And of those 14, 6 of them are over $1 million.
Yeah. Just all out of whack, right?
Yeah. That's what's screwing all the numbers up, is everything's just completely out of whack. And that there's there's inventory hitting the market in that over 500,000 space. And that still doesn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
But that stuff that's, sub 250, sub 300, 50 showings on a Saturday, and it's, 10 offers on Sunday and decision by Monday.
Yeah. Supply is the problem.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Next one, home appreciation, 8% this year. So we've already told them no crash is coming. What do you think about 8%? Do you think you think you take the over or under of that, nationally speaking?
Oh, that number's so like right in the middle where I think it's I mean, I legitimately think that I would say I'm going to have to bet under. I think it's going to be under that. And the only reason why is because we know that rates take wind out of the sales.
Sure.
And absolutely. I think rates go up a little bit. And I think that the only reason that we don't see the 8% appreciation is because I think rates will help keep that a little bit tempered.
Yeah. I could get behind that. I mean, I think that's solid logic and the right reasons. Just because I like to be happy and, smile all the day, I'm going to take the over just because. I actually think this is the last year the Fed and the Treasury working in concert are going to be able to artificially keep rates low. I think Operation Twist is right around the corner, right? Yep. They're gonna flatten that, and we're gonna have one more year of kind of artificially low supply. Because again, I do see supply coming up next year because of the evictions and the foreclosures and all of that. I don't think it's a lot, but it'll be enough to temper appreciation next year. But I think we're gonna have one more good year, and it's going to be a good time to own real estate if so that's what I'm watching. I'll take the over.
Yeah. And I think next year, honestly becomes more of a runaway on inflation.
Yeah.
I think that 2022 has a lot of elements to be concerned about, inflation, higher rates, more inventory. It's all the things, enjoy the party because we're going to have a hangover. Enjoy.
Yeah. 2022 scares me. Summer 2022 scares me.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, 2021 folks, go get that 30-year money because they can't take it away. Right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I was sitting down with a friend of mine who's, looking to buy his first investment property. And I just said, my man, you get to lock in for 30 years. Like, I will probably be teasing you every time I see you about how you'll never be able to refi out of that mortgage.
Exactly. Lifer.
Yeah. I was like, you're locking in even on an FHA just over 3, a smidge over 3 on an FHA or something like that.
On an investment loan. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, golly. So anyway, that'll be interesting to watch. And obviously it's somewhat market dependent, but yeah, I mean, I think that money as cheap as it is right now, again, you and I don't have a 90-day time horizon.
No, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like if the defense gives it to me, yeah, I'll sell in 90 days if that's
Sure.
the right thing to do. But
Yeah.
largely, I'm looking to add it to my portfolio and it's a hold.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here's one that ought to be fun to talk about: college education.
You're asking the 9th grade dropout about a college education.
I am.
So I think we can all know that I'm clearly not qualified to answer this question because I didn't even get out of high school. I think largely speaking, here's what I can tell you about college educations. A lot of people that have worked for me in the past have college educations. I'm teasing.
Dude, that's going to get some hate mail right there.
Oh, huge. Yeah. And I was just joking. I mean, everybody stop being so sensitive. I'm a dummy who didn't get out of the 9th grade. You expect me to have higher class? Come on.
Yes.
But I think, honestly, I think that if your degree is in something of merit and not something of merit to you or to me, but to the world, is it of something of value? You know, I think that if you're getting out and you are a, you know, alternative energy and you got a degree in alternative energy, I think that's an amazing degree. And I think that that will make you, I think that that will, you know, put you in a good job for the rest of your life and you will help change the world in a positive way.
For sure. Yeah.
If you are getting a degree in a lot of these other disciplines or non-disciplines, you know, basket weaving, something like that, or just kind of check the box, then quite frankly, you'd be better off working a regular job and getting on the property ladder.
No, I totally agree with all of that. I'm actually going to pull an audible and call it college debt.
Yeah.
Right. That's where my big problem is. And again, we're seeing all these calls for canceling debt and 10,000 or 50,000 and all of that, which just drives me nuts. You're an adult. You signed on the line.
You did.
You made the call, right?
Yep.
Nobody put a gun to your head.
That's right.
But
the honor of a contract.
Yeah. I mean, what are we giving away 9th place trophies still? I mean, what the hell are we doing? So I think the answer relies in college debt.
Yes.
If you are in a particular situation and you're exiting, even if it is a basket weaving, to use your concept, but you leave with no debt, awesome.
Sure.
You had a last blowout party for 4 years. You probably your first time away from home for many of you.
Yeah, sure.
Go nuts.
Yeah,
I did it wrong. I was 19 and married, man. I had no college experience. I was going to class at 7:30. Out by 9:30 or 10:30 and, you know, off to work at 12. So I did it all freaking wrong.
Yeah. Hey, some of the smartest people I know went to night school.
Yeah, exactly.
No joke. Yeah. And they were grind. I mean, hey, listen, that's a definition of grinder.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to school specifically for a purpose, right? Yeah. They want to make their life better. They want to set themselves up for life. And that's what college is supposed to be. So it's just like anything. If you're going to do it right and do it well.
Yeah. The other thing I will point out, because I had to pay for my education, and oh, by the way, we paid for our daughters because that was a big deal for me. So she left with no debt. I went to junior college for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, again, I think junior college is underrated for sure. Right.
Yeah.
I think junior college, let me say this, junior college is underrated. Most 4-year degrees are overrated. How about that? Because I think junior college holds a lot of magic. You get to find out who you are. You get to bounce around for $20 a class or whatever it is. Find your thing. And, you know, I have a master's degree. My most valuable class was taken at De Anza College, which is a junior college, was public speaking. That class made me millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I have an econ degree, a master's in business. No other course, whether it was my law class, my accounting classes, my marketing classes, none of them made me any money except public speaking. That's my most valuable class.
I put my wife through college, and she went to community college, 2-year degree, became a nurse.
There you go.
And made great money. And the best thing is, you know, you and I are value guys and return on capital guys.
Yeah.
And yield guys. And that education cost about $14,000.
Pay for it. You would do it again.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
too.
not even that long. Like only because it took the printer that long to spit out the paper.
Yeah, exactly. I like print.
Yeah. Yeah. Would do it again in a heartbeat. And for me, it was like, there were times where I considered going back to school, but quite frankly, I was like, what's my opportunity cost? Yeah. Not only does it cost me $150,000 to go to the right school for me, but how many years was that going to take me out of the workforce and everything? Like it just, just didn't make sense. I stuck a 9th grade dropout way it is.
That's a go. All right. We got 2 more. Getting your real estate license. Overrated, underrated.
Oh, you know how much I hate new brokers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's supremely overrated.
Yeah.
The things that you're going to learn on that test, they're only important if you're going to become a broker.
Yeah.
If the idea is that you want to become a broker to then get into real estate, to then be doing the types of transactions Mike and I are doing, you don't have yours, right?
Well, I'll answer it this way. I actually, so one of the things, again, I was struggling with what to do after I left, right? So here's my idea. And I actually wrote it in the book. I said, I might go get my real estate license.
I remember. Did you?
I actually ended up getting it. Why did I do it? I did it because I assumed that there was some valuable information that I was missing. That was probably true in 2000.
Yeah.
It is not true in 2020.
No.
So my license is coming up for renewal in about 4 months. I am not renewing it. I'm not doing any of the extra. I have no interest. It is so if you want to be an investor, it's so supremely overvalued. If you want to be somebody who sells 3 or 4 houses a year to your friends and you want to do open houses, by all means, it's a tremendous career. The expert I talked to in about 30 minutes is a broker, is an agent. If that's your career, go for it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to answer this question as an investor. So many folks go, the first thing I'm going to do is get my license. Why?
No.
What, are you kidding me?
Nope.
I don't know. It took me 50 hours probably to get ready for that exam. Go spend 50 hours looking at your market. It's far more valuable.
Far better return on your investment in time. And 90% of what you're going to learn in that test is largely not applicable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 And that's being fair. 90%.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you want to be a broker, right, a real estate entrepreneur like Omar, who goes on in about a half hour, that's a great goal. Because at least in California, you have to have a license first, 2 years, and then you can become a broker. If that's your vision, go nuts. Kind of like a college education. If you know what you want to do at the end of it, great. But don't just do it because you feel like you're doing something. That is not okay.
You can't go wrong with getting certifications in your line of work.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 10. Yeah. Number 10, having the desire for and ultimately getting your dream car.
I think that the desire, so I have the desire. Yes. So I would say it's all how you do it, right?
Yeah.
We have to be such nerds and make things so unfun. Why is that? I mean, yes, I want it, but here's how much of a dork I am. I am going to literally go buy a house, and based on what return on capital that house gives me, I'm going to go buy a car, and then that house is going to be known as the car house.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But that's it. So I think having those aspirations is important. I think where they fall in your line of what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do, I think it's very important that you're never spending investable capital in those type of assets. I did that early on in my life, and I could have been even further than where I am now and missed opportunity because I had 3 really nice cars with ridiculous car payments. Yeah. Shouldn't have done it. They were a lot of fun to drive. But still, I'd rather have another house.
Yeah.
And that would have added that for me. And then I'd have that house for now, 16 years. And, that house, I would have a couple $100,000 worth of equity as opposed to, just some time that I spent in those cars having fun.
Yeah. So I think, I had a dream car since I was 20. It was a Mercedes-Benz SL 500. It's now SL 550, right? 2-door hardtop V8 twin turbo.
Yep.
Right. My story starts with I was selling car radios. A dentist rolled in and threw down like 10 grand and said, trick it out. So that's been my dream car ever since. Right. So I held on to that fire. And I think it was an $80,000 car when I was 20. So it's a 6-figure car now.
Yeah.
And, I held on to that. Every time I saw one, I remembered, right? I made the connection.
Yeah.
So I think having the fire for something is pretty awesome. And then I think getting it when you can, right? When you can stroke a check, is pretty awesome. I remember sitting at the dealer, picking out the car I wanted, and buying it. It was pretty awesome. And I still smile every time I go into the garage, right? Yeah, it's underrated, I think, that the passion.
Now you can buy a 1998 SL 500 that's beautiful and for about $9,000. So perfect.
That's awesome. I did not buy a 1998 SL 500.
That's what my wife likes to laugh at me about. She's like, man, you can make anything not fun. And I was like, but I can also make anything fun.
Yeah, exactly. I can do this both ways. Where do you want to go?
But yeah, awesome. Like I was I wanted a Porsche so badly. And, you know, we're really blessed here to have a couple of amazing Porsche dealerships, but also a couple of retired Porsche trainers and racers. And so they know everything. And so we have a decent Porsche community around us. And I'm looking at these cars and absolutely salivating and, you know, having to do this and just, you know, it was crazy. And the funniest part about it is I was just like, every single time I walked out of there, I was just like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't write that. I'm so cheap. I can't write that check. And so then I found this one that a racer had basically done everything to. And yeah, bought it for $20,000.
There you go.
I mean, and it was, I loved the car. It was an amazing car. I had so much fun with it, but I did it based on literally being able to write a check. And it was what I made on profit, you know, a third of my profit on a flip I did. And so I was like, hey, this is worth it. Great. This is fun. But
yeah. Every time I get in the car now, I remember the 15 years of sacrifice or delayed gratification, whatever you want to call it. So,
So you didn't buy the 98?
No, I did not. No, I think it was an 18 or a 17. I've had it a few years now.
And don't you love it? Like, isn't it fun? Yeah.
Dude, I could just sit in the car and smile, let alone stomp on the gas, drop the hard top of the push. I mean, that's just an amazing car. I love it.
We are so much alike. I mean, I literally had a really nice car when I didn't have a garage. And in New England, that's a problem.
That's not good.
Paying for storage in the winter time. So I didn't have to, shovel off my Porsche, but again, it wasn't, it was a great car and so much fun. And so, I think people should have those dreams and have that thing they're trying to go get, but have it be a result of income and money coming in based on having done the right thing and set yourself up.
Yeah. For me, just so it's clear, my dream car didn't come until year 16 of our journey. 1-6.
Yeah.
Right. I could have financed the purchase year 1, but again, realize how far the delay was, but it's pretty awesome. So that's what I got for the over under show. This was fun. We may do this once a month or something.
Sounds awesome. Look forward to it, Mike. Thanks so much for the time.
You got it. Take care.